Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be putting my skills as a Summoners War player to the test.
No, it's not four. Come on. Like, get out my
Darling!
What's so fucking
So as the introduction implies, I'm going to be testing my skills as a Summoners War player by taking part in a challenge. Now this challenge I've mentioned in a past video, so in case you're wondering what I'm talking about, there is a past video talking about it a little bit, but this video is going to go into much more detail about it. So what is this challenge? This challenge is an unofficial speed run. I say unofficial for a few reasons. For one, I'd like for this to more or less be reference for an actual attempt at a speed run, but it's mainly because I just can't live stream. I don't have the equipment needed to live stream. I'm not saying that I need like some super big computer, but it's just like with what I record on now, it's not capable of live streaming. I've tried live streaming before and it cannot handle live streaming, and at best it would be a very low quality live stream, and the quality would be so low that I'm afraid that it would bring into question the validity of the run. Because it's just like this device, this phone that I'm recording on is bad. The speakers, everything is bad. Plus, I'm a little awkward. I can't talk forever, so there'd be so many moments of silence or me doing something in the background. But besides the point, even if I wanted to, I can't. One day I'd like to do it for you guys officially. I'd like to sit there on a live stream with you guys and spend multiple days in a row sitting there talking to you guys live streaming, but that's not possible right now. So this is more that's why I say this is unofficial. I can't sit here and say it's official when you guys can't see every second of it. So with that being said, that's unofficial. But to make up for the lack of a live stream, I'm gonna be making multiple videos. I'm gonna be making at least 2 videos a day, maybe more depending if I really need to. But 2 videos a day for this challenge. Now some of you guys are like, wait, I'm a long-term viewer. I'm a long-term subscriber. You can barely put out 2 videos a week, idiot. You're gonna do 2 videos a day. Well, that's where my preparedness comes into play. See, I've been preparing for this the last few days. For one, I put in some PTO from work, so I can literally dedicate all of my time to this. I put in almost a week of PTO, so I can literally sit at home and do nothing but this challenge. Um, so yeah, I'm literally gonna be able to focus straight on this. On top of that, I'm gonna buy groceries and all that the day before, so I will have no reason to leave the house. I've told people that I know that it's like, hey, I ain't doing like don't talk to me, don't talk to me for for those days, right? Because it's like I'm doing something on those days. But so yeah, I will literally be able to dedicate all of my time to this challenge of ours. So I have no excuse. I really have no excuse. And plus, I'm super excited for this. And when you guys know when I'm excited for something, it's gonna get done. Sadly, it's a crux. If I'm not excited, it won't get done, right? But as for the speedrun part, what am I speedrunning? Well, the goal is to complete all of Kairos Dungeon. So that's giants, dragons, all that stuff. There, do the Abyss hard floors consistently. I don't really care about the times. I just care about doing it consistently. As long as I do that, I'll consider that a completion, right? On top of that, all the Rift Beasts, Triple S, don't care about the time. Rift Raid level 5, consistent, obviously. Don't care about the time. Trial of Ascension normal and Trial of Ascension hard. That's the goal. On top of all of that, I want to be able to do it in 3 days. Now, I probably won't be able to do it in 3 days, but that's the goal. That's a personal goal of mine. If I can't get it done in 3 days, I'm still going to continue and push through and persevere. And even if I do fail my own personal goal, I can always go back and look at this challenge as reference. I can be like, hey, where did I go wrong? What could I have done better? And even if I do manage to beat my goal work, I can still go back and be like, hey, I could have done this way better. Or maybe I just got unlucky there. Maybe my run could have been better if I got unluckier. Who knows? But this is going to be interesting and this is going to be fun, and you guys are going to have tons of content to look forward to on that day. I'll put the day up somewhere on screen at some point during the video. I'm sure I'll mention it, but just in case, that's the thing. So TLDR complete Kairos, Rift Beasts, Rift Raid, and Trial of Ascension all within 3 days. Yeah, that's going to be pretty difficult, but don't worry. I've been planning on how I'm going to be approaching this. One thing that I should mention before we get too far into this video is that I'm not going to be spending any money. Did a little bit of I've seen like a Reddit post of someone talking about how they not beat, but they sped run this game or speed run or whatever, but they bought a pack. I'm not going to be buying packs. I think to keep it as 100% as close to it being nothing but skill as possible, no buying nothing. I don't want to buy a pack and then I get a scroll from it and I summon the scroll and it gives me a game breaking unit, or it gives me a reap or a rune that changes everything. I don't want none of that. I don't want to be able to buy energy, especially two-way energy. I want everything to be as limited as possible and as fair as possible. Everything is going to be pure skill or lack thereof, right? So I have to say that. Now, I want to first talk about a couple of quote unquote plans or strategies that I've come up with. I'm sure to a lot of you guys, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, well, that's a given. That's a given. That's something that you should have been doing in the first place. But just in case, I'm going to go over them with you. You can imagine with 3 days, I have very little time to prepare for so many dungeons. I mean, this is well over 10 dungeons that I'm going to be preparing for. So with the units that I pick, I have to make sure that every unit that I pick is not just some random useless unit, but this unit is not only good at the job that I'm trying to give it, but is versatile, so I can take it into as many dungeons as possible, so I'm building as little units as possible. On top of that, I need to make sure that every second I spend and use is being used efficiently. So, for example, I've limited the amount of 5 stars and fusions in 2As that I can do. I mean, not 2As. 2As are limited due to their own thing. But 5 stars and fusions are limited because of the resources that are needed to be put into one. So I think all of the fusions are really good. I mean, you get the Light Paladin, you get Riley, you get even the Dark Dogai Lord. All of them are really good units, but it's just like, are they necessary to complete something, or are they more of a unit to increase the quality of what you do, right? So Riley, she's a really good unit. Use her as an example. She's a really good fusion monster. I recommend fusing her whenever you can. But it's just like with what she's bringing to the table, she's not going to help in the speed run. She might make the speed run worse, right? I mean, she's a good healer, but I'm going to get so many healers that are near the same quality as her. And it's just like what she needs for her to be good. She needs so many Devilmons, which we have 3 days and we have limited Devilmons. Last thing I need to do is waste tons of Devilmons on a healer, right? Those Devilmons will be put to better use elsewhere. On top of that, even if I was like, oh, well, you could technically use her without her Devilmons, you just have to wait for longer cooldown times. At the end of the day, even the time it takes to get her fused compared to other fusions, it's just like, that could be, even if it's half an hour to get her fused, that's a half hour wasted that I could have used somewhere else. I need to be time efficient. I need to be resource efficient. And that's what I was thinking about when coming up with a lot of these plans and strategies. So, first things first, let's talk about those 5 stars and those fusions. For the 5 stars and the fusions, I have only 4 5 stars that I'm going to be using, 3 of those being fusions. Now, these fusions are going to be pretty easy thanks to the Summoner's Welcome event, where they give you those 4 events that you could use. They're going to literally give you 2 fusions for free, and then they'll help you with your third one. I only have 3 fusions, so let's talk about what those fusions are. The first fusion should be pretty obvious, Veramos. The second fusion will be Beligear. Beligear is goated as hell. He's really helpful in the beginning, and he's really great later on. He's useful in so many areas. We will talk about him when we get to him. And the third one might not be what some of y'all expected. Who knows? The third one is Xiongfei, the Fire Panda. He's a unit that we will get into detail later on. And then the last one is Irigar, which he's an Ancient Coin unit. As you can see, all these units are units that you'll be able to obtain at any time throughout the game. It's no luck needed. And again, I'm trying to eliminate as many areas as possible where luck is needed and required. But even then, the reason I've limited myself to only 4 5 stars is due to Devilmons. So let's talk about Devilmons real quick. Within 3 days, as I mentioned, we only have so much time, and that also means we only get so many rewards. We're only going to get so many Devilmons, and we have 4 5 stars, two of which are definitely Devilmon dependent. The other two, which technically aren't. Beligear doesn't need any Devilmons. Vero, I don't think needs Devilmons to work. He needs Devilmons to be more efficient, but what we need is something to work, not for it to be super efficient. For Xiongfei, he needs Devilmons, and for Irogar, he needs Devilmons. In fact, when it comes to Devilmons, I actually have a plan on how I'm going to even use them, and how I'm going to obtain them. So let's talk about me obtaining Devilmons. I'm trying to maximize the amount of Devilmons that I'm going to obtain. So the way I'm doing this is I didn't just throw in random days off for my PTO. I had it start off on a specific day. Sunday. For those of y'all who've been playing Summoners War for a little bit, you know that Sunday is the day that the arena refreshes. So if I can jump in on Sunday as my first day, I can rush to the 2A dungeon, start doing my 2As, and then do tons of arena battles. Just rush arena, get as many glory points as possible before the tallying happens, buy the Devilmon, and then when Monday comes, aka day 2, I could buy another Devilmon, giving me one more Devilmon than I would have on any other day of the week. So Sunday, starting off on a Sunday, is super duper important. That's one strategy that I'm applying. But when it comes to distributing Devilmons, realistically, I think they both only need 2 Devilmon if I'm 100% sure. I know Irogar only needs 2. Where's the Fire Panda Warrior? I hope I didn't pass him. Here he is. So here's where he needs it the most. It's a skill 2. Irogar only needs it for a skill 3, which his skill 3 is do 2. So realistically, if I land everything, if I get lucky on everything and it goes where I want it to, I only need 4 Devilmons, which I for sure got 4 Devilmons. So this could work, but I could also get very unlucky. For Irogar, I don't really care too much about his skill 2. His skill 2 is going to be very important, but this cooldown time is not bad enough, right? This only goes from 4 turns to 3 turns, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. And wherever he does need his skill 2, which is mainly Steel Fortress, Punisher's Crypt, and Rift Raid, it's like we're not too worried about the enemy taking tons of turns, right? And Punisher's Crypt, I'm not going to be able to stop the enemy from taking tons of turns. From Steel Fortress, we'll have Lauren, which will prevent the boss from taking tons of turns. And in Rift Raid, we'll probably eliminate the boss before they take enough turns to get rid of everything. Plus, anything that he will place on to the boss, I'm sure other units will place. For, Xiongfei. His skill 2 is important for reasons that we'll explain later on into the video. But this is a very important skill. His skill 3 is important, and if we can, the way I'm going to distribute it is Xiongfei will get the first 2 Devilmon, assuming that they all go into his skill 2. Once his skill 2 is fully skilled up, I will then go to Irogar and skill him up until his skill 3 is fully skilled up. And then if I still have extra Devilmon to spare, which I probably will, I will switch back to Xiongfei and then get his skill 3 completely done. We will get into why his skill ups are super important, but for now, all you need to know is that that's how I'm going to be distributing them. Veremos gets no skill ups. It is not necessary. His skill 2, while it is good, it's not super necessary. And plus, again, I'm trying to think about how many turns are being taken off through skill ups. And I think it's only 1. So 1 turn more of having to wait is not going to be the biggest deal, especially for where it matters, which is it's going to be giants and dragons, which, while the runs may be long, they'll survive, right? The most important thing about Veremos is his passive. For Beligear, if you were to take a look at Beligear, you'll see that it's just like his thing, his kit requires no Devilmons. Yeah, he'll get more damage out, but again, we're not worried about speed, we're worried about consistency. So with that being said, let's talk about 2As. So Second Awakenings. Again, with 3 days, with only 3 days to get stuff done, we have limited time. So much limited time, meaning that we're not going to have too many opportunities to 2A monsters. We can't just 2A any monster we feel like, which is why it's like I have like that's why it's like certain units just aren't here. Like Naomi is a unit that obviously isn't here for various reasons, but even if I could 2A as many units as I wanted, Naomi is just she's not necessary, and I'm trying to 2A necessary units rather than units that offer quality, right? Because there's two types of 2As. 2As that offer necessity, which they are necessary to beat certain areas, and other units that are more quality. They help increase whether it's the time or I guess kind of the consistency, but they aren't completely necessary. You could do without them. So my 3 2As that I'm going to be picking, assuming that I can only do 3 2As. I'm sure I could probably do more, but I'm trying to set my expectations low. So under the assumption that I can only ever get 3 2As done, which I know I'm going to be able to get more, we will talk about it. But assuming that I can only do 3 2As, in order of priority will be Crow. He's my first 2A for reasons I'll explain in a little bit. Then will be Spectra. Then will be Ryok. Um, the reason, so again, just to make sure I said it clearly, Crow, Spectra, and then Ryok. The reason you hear Ryok and not like Shaman or something like that, or anyone else, is because Shaman, I do believe, is more or less a unit of quality than he is of necessity. You can beat Necropolis without Shaman. You can beat Necropolis without Shaman's 2A. Shaman is the best 2A for Necropolis. Don't get me twisted on what I'm trying to say here. Don't think that I'm saying, oh, Shaman is terrible, Ryok is better. It's like, no, no, no. For the sake of the speed run, though, Ryok is better. Because Ryok, I need him in so many other places. While Shaman, he's pretty much exclusive to Necropolis. Again, I need versatility, and I need to build as little units as possible. The less resources that I have to spread thin, the better. The less time I have to spend skilling up units and leveling up and evolving units, the better. Because so much time is going to be dedicated to evolving and leveling up. And again, I have so limited 2A energy. The 2A energy that I have is so limited, I can't take the risk of 2Aing Shaman over Ryok, especially since I know I need Ryok, and I'll explain why later. But the reason Crow is first is because Crow is so incredibly versatile, and I'm gonna be doing Giants pretty early on to get as many runes as possible, and I need Ryok. I need or not Ryok, but I need Crow. I need Crow way more than I need Spectra and Ryok's 2A to be done. So that's that. But I'm pretty sure I will be able to get more than 3 done, and if I can, Shaman is on the list. I can't really think of anybody else I might need at this time. I might think of it later. I mean, we still have well over almost a week and a half, give or take a couple days, to finish up our game plan. We will make another video, by the way, like a day or so before we do this challenge. But so it's like this is not the final blueprint, but just in case, we can probably get another 2A done. But that being said, I already mentioned the no money spending. Runes. So if you've been watching me for a while now, you know how I feel about runes. I hate blue runes. I hate blues. I love purples. I love oranges, and I love 6 stars. And I love complete sets. I hate broken sets. But for the sake of this challenge, for us to win it, we're gonna have to throw broken sets on pretty much everyone. Everyone's gonna have like blue runes. Some of them are gonna have purple and legendaries, but we're not selling as many runes as we'd like. We're gonna be keeping a lot of blue runes. Like it looked like this, and I'm gonna keep all of it. I would keep this and this and this. It's just I'm gonna hate it, but for us to win this challenge, for us to even have a chance to beat this challenge. Oh, did I sell this? Repurchase. For us to have a chance to even win this challenge, I need to use everything at my disposal, even blue runes. Um, so with that being said, how about we talk about some teams? So the first team that I'm going to be focusing on is Giants. This is a pretty basic team, and it doesn't really. I mean, it works regardless if it's a speedrun or not. Vero, Crow, Shannon, Bella, and Lynn. So Veramoss is the 5-star fusion. Crow is the second awakened Crow. Shannon, Bella, Dion, and Lynn. All of these units are very versatile. Lynn is the only unit that probably has the least importance here. And if I can summon a unit that is better than Lynn, like maybe Tashar, hell, even Savannah, it's like I will use them over Lynn. But Lynn is my backup. All these teams that I have are going to be teams that are built under the assumption that I just don't summon anything good. But I don't think any of these units need explanation. Shannon, I guess, could. Shannon's going to be used in a lot of the Rift Beasts. He's going to be used, obviously, in Giants. She's going to be very useful in the Rift Raid. So, very good unit. As for our Dragons team, we have Veramoss, so we can move Veramoss from Giants to Dragons. Lynn, so we can move Lynn from Giants to Dragons. If Lynn doesn't work, we could just throw Thrawn in, and it'll work. Then we have Verd, Lauren, and Spectra. So a basic Dragons team. Again, all of which we can get done very quickly. For Necropolis, though, Necropolis is where it gets a little bit more interesting. For Necropolis, this is my team. I actually have more than 5 options, so you're gonna have to hear me out on this. But guaranteed units are Xiongfei, Abigail, Aster, and Iragar. Those are the guaranteed units. Xiongfei is going to be one of the fusions. Abigail, you can get from the 4-star pick event for new players. Aster, same deal with as Abigail, you can get from the new player event. And Iragar, you can get from Ancient Coin. All of these have multi-hits, and they're going to be helpful for dropping the shield and setting up our damage dealer. Now, written here, I have Shaman written here, but Shaman is not a guarantee. Man, I'm fucking losing this Rift Raid battle. But Shaman is not a guarantee. I have him there in case I can 2A him. If I can't, I will probably throw in Rayoke or Crow. Most likely Crow. I can still do it without Shaman. For Iragar, just in case, if Iragar doesn't help enough, I could just throw in Colleen or Lauren or Saren. That's what I have written down. Saren is a 2A, so Saren probably is just an empty bot. But Colleen, I can throw her in without 2Aing her. And Lauren, she has the multi-hits, defense breaks, slows, and disturb HP recovery, which you need. Yeah, I lost that shit. But let me explain Xiongfei a little bit. So, Xiongfei is a very good unit. He's a very versatile unit. I'm going to be using him elsewhere anyways, and since he brings multi-hits, he makes my life easier in Necropolis. So let's talk about Xiongfei a little bit. Why is Xiongfei in Necropolis, right? I mean, he's helpful in the Wind Beast, because fire unit and he heals, and really good defensive unit to throw up front. Plus, you have the defense thing right here. Good in the Dark Beast because of his multi-hits. And for that very same reason, he's very helpful in Necropolis. I mean, skill 1 is a multi-hit, it attacks 3 times. Skill 3 is a multi-hit, which attacks 4 times. And he disturbs HP recovery, glancing hit, attack power decrease, and attack speed decrease. Every single one of those debuffs are good for Necropolis. But you're like, okay, well, what about his skill 2? His skill 2 cleanses allies, recovers their HP by 15% each for 2 turns, so he places the HP recovery buff, and then he places a counterattack buff on himself. So every time he's attacked for the next 2 turns, he will counterattack with a multi-hit, reducing the amount of shields that we have to take off of the enemy, when we take our turn, right? So he's going to be really helpful. Is he the best unit for a speedy team? No. But again, like I mentioned earlier, we don't really care about speed. So, really big player here. Xiongfei is going to be one of our most important units. I'm going to be building him more like a support first, and if I can manage to do it, I'll build him like a damage dealer-ish. But I'm more worried about accuracy, because all of these are going to be important. I mean, defense break here. He has everything, dude. He's a really good unit. And he's going to be goated for R5. I mean, R5 beast. Iragar. So Iragar is a bit questionable here, but he brings the attack buff so we can deal more damage. Plus, we can heal ourselves off of our own attacks. And he also has multi-hits. His skill 2 is going to be a pretty big deal as well, especially when it comes to Steel Fortress, because that blocks beneficial effects is going to be a pretty big deal. But him and Xiong Fei are going to be carrying so much of this. Like, alongside Crow, they're two of the biggest units on this entire team, or on this entire account. But other than that, those are the main teams I have. For Steel Fortress, I'm sure I could just go Verd, Vero, not in that order. The leader would be Vero, I assume. No, it could be Verd. Lauren, Iragar, and probably Aster or Rayoke. But it would probably be Rayoke just to help with damage. But that could be Steel Fortress. For Punisher's Crypt, I would have to be a little bit more um I'd have to test it a little bit more because Punisher's Crypt I know will be a little bit difficult. But I'm probably gonna aim more for safety than I will for damage or speed. But moving on to I've written this down. I already talked about Double Mons. Yeah, I already talked about Double Mons. Sorry, I'm looking at a notebook. I was literally writing all this stuff down. For the beasts, for the fire beasts, wind beasts, water beasts, all those. For the fire beasts, I wrote down Abigail, Iragar, Lapis, Crow, Tyron, and Belagier. I believe the game does give you Tyron for free, but just in case, you could throw in the water homunculus, or you could throw in probably throw in what's her face. Oh, what's her fucking face? Aster, because her skill one has an AOE, but the idea would be that Abigail and Lapis are in the front, or you could switch around Abigail and Tyron. But Abigail, Lapis in the front, Belagier, Aragar, Tyron, Crow in the back. Um, if need be, I could kind of like mess or fiddle with the Summoner's Welcome event missions or whatever that give you crystals and force a fusion for the homunculus, and just that would require so much time. Maybe I could maybe do that. I could probably do that. Who knows? But Tyron would probably be the best call for AOE's. But well, again, that team will work. For the Ice Beast, Yen, Bernard, Shannon, Bella, Iragar, and Crow. Yeah, Bernard, Bella, and Shannon in the front, and then Yen, Crow, and Iragar in the back. Yen you get for free from I believe it was the Punisher's Crypt mission. So actually, for Punisher's Crypt, I could throw in Yen. Um, but Yen is such a hard hitter, and I'm not gonna say she's stat hungry. She's not. But this team works really well. For the Wind Beast, this team I haven't tested. I will be testing it probably tonight or tomorrow on my own time. But it will be Xiong Fei and Colleen in the front, Belagier, Rayoke, Aragar, and Crow in the back. And this should be good enough to beat it, Triple S. For the Light Beast, I have Bella and Shannon in the front, Crow, Iragar, Yen, and Belagier in the back. Belagier will be pretty slow, so he can get his third skill off and go crazy when the shields are down. As for the Dark Beast, Xiong Fei and Lauren in the front, Crow, Iragar, Rayoke, and Abigail in the back. Tons of multi-hits. The next thing I have written down is 4-star pick event priority. So the 4-star pick event that you get as a new player allow you to pick one 4-star monster from each attribute from the main attribute, so fire, wind, and water. For fire and water, those are guaranteed to be Abigail and Aster. Those take priority, in fact. You'll notice that I'm not talking about the twins at all. If I can summon the twins, that'd make this run even easier for me. But if not, I can do without them. For the wind pick, though, the thing is, as much as I always tell you guys to aim for Hrazvelg, because Hrazvelg is such an amazing unit, Hrazvelg is essentially Shannon, but for more speedy teams. Again, we don't care about speed, we care about consistency. And I don't want to pick a unit that isn't contributing in a massive way. So I said my win picks are either going to be Hrazvelg, Shimite, or hell, maybe even Ravidi, because of his skill 3, which helps a lot with the Wind Beast, because I could play shields on everyone and we just take little damage and we could heal, right? Plus, I can skill them up with Hargs, which a lot of the Hargs that you get are 3-stars, which you can get from Mystical Scrolls. So I'm really trying to think ahead, but Ravidi, I need to actually write that down. Ravidi might be my choice, but typically I would tell you to pick Hrazvelg. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to day one. We're gonna go through day one and day two, and then we'll end it here because this video is already long as hell. But I already have my goals for day one and day two. I'll mention it again. I have so little time to do anything in those 3 days. I cannot waste my time doing nothing. I can't waste my time on nonsense. So I have specific goals for each day. Day one has a lot of goals, but it's necessary that I get every single one of these done. If I fall behind on this, it'll mess up the rest of the run, but we're cool with it, right? So day one's goals are to do it. I wrote it down as rush 2As. By rush 2A, I essentially mean hurry up and rush through scenario, unlock 2A dungeons, and start doing all the 2As. That's important because I need to maximize the amount of energy that I'm getting from these 2As. Um, the, Another thing about that is, again, remember, I'm starting on Sunday. If I can start on Sunday, get all the way to the 2As, start doing as many 2As as possible, buy all the energy with the crystals, by the time Monday hits, it'll refresh, and I can buy more energy, meaning that I probably can get a fourth 2A done. On top of that, on day one, I need to do as many secret dungeons as possible. I need to get the Dark Yeti done. I need to get Bella Dion's secret dungeon. I need to get Lynn's secret dungeon, assuming that I don't summon them. Uh, I don't think Spectra, in case I don't get Spectra, but I should get Spectra. Shaman's 2A. Other than that, there might be some secret dungeons that I might need for. Nope. Religers free. Yeah. I don't really need anything more than Dark Yeti. I think. Yeah, I think it's the Dark Yeti. Yeah. So, mm, I could if I can get hers. No, no, she's gonna be a waste of time. Um, that level up and evolve. Day one is gonna be mainly me leveling up in scenario and evolving in scenario. So obviously, alongside that, it's completing the scenario mode. Completing scenario is going to be one of the important goals because scenario gives so many rewards that it'd be ridiculous to not take advantage of that. Not take advantage of those rewards. So completing all of scenario and then leveling up and evolving as many units as possible from every single team is going to be super duper important. Um, since one thing that we have to realize is like units like Aster and Abigail, I don't unlock till way late, right? Like I don't have it here, but the Summoner's Welcome event, the 4-star pick event is the very final event of that, which means I have to complete all the other events prior to that before I can unlock it. Meaning that I can't just start running into Giants teams or whatever, or into Necropolis without those. I mean, I could probably do Dragons, I could probably do Giants, but Necropolis and so many of the Rift Beasts can't be done until I unlock those 4 stars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally level up and evolve as many units as possible that is needed for whether it's for fusions or anything on day one. I'm speaking too fast. Slow down. Rush fusions. Hurry up and get as many fusions done as possible. So all 3 of my fusions done day one. That's required, and I need to rush giants. Even if it's getting to Giants B10, that is the most important part. If I can get to Giants B10, I can start farming it for runes, and I already talked about the runes and all that, and we can start equipping units. Another thing that I put was by the end of day, right? So the goals that I need to have by the end of the day in order of priority. So just in case it wasn't clear before, I need to have Giants started, and I need to be farming it by the end of day one. I need to have scenario cleared. I need to have all the fusions done, and I need to have Crow and Ryok 2-aid. Finally, moving on to day two. The goals for day two is to start equipping all of our units. All of our units. And I need to finish all of the 2As. I need to build my Necropolis and Dragons teams. I need to get all the points needed for the 4-star pick events. And I need to prioritize Abigail and Aster. But that's essentially what I have written down for all of the for the challenge so far. But let me know what you guys think. I mean, I've spent a bit of time trying to plan this out. I know this is not the most perfect plan right now, but we'll see as time goes on if things change, I'll see how I add more things onto it. But I'm more than happy to discuss this plan with you guys if you guys want to in the comment section below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.